everyone. Sean Ellis here from Eternal X Wolf Pack Paranormal. And tonight we have a special before we kick off season 4. Last Halloween, I teamed up with Phantom Pals, Nick and Leah, and we went to Melvern Manor. And we've been so busy, we never really had a chance to talk about some of the stuff that we had going on there. So in order to kind of close out season 3, and it happened during season 3 anyhow, I figured that this would be a good time to have a special, and we were going to talk about Melvern Manor. So I have Nick and Leah from Phantom Pals sitting backstage, and we're going to bring them on here. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey.
How you been?
Great and busy and working.
Well, I know. It seems like it wasn't that long ago. We were in Melvern Manor and investigating together, and then all of a sudden everybody got busy, and we never had a chance to really talk about what happened there that night.
No.
So what did you think about Melvern Manor and us being there?
It was actually a good time. It was on my bucket list, a place that I've been wanting to go to. Wanted to kind of go through a little bit of the history so folks today can remember a little bit more about Melvern. That history of it being built in the late 1800s. It was a hotel. And the railroad is like right there. So it was a great spot for people to stop off and get cat food. Sorry. It was known as the Cottage Hotel. And the captain ran it.
Right.
So in 1956, the hotel was done. And it was mainly because of the rise of automobiles and the less use of that train that was taken. So everything closed down in 56, and then they were reopened as a care facility for the elderly, which then added a new wing to the structure, which on that picture there, towards the left-hand side, your left, I think, there's like another wing that sort of is more vertical than horizontal.
Right.
And so that's another wing that they added. And they had larger rooms and already mainly furnished for the residents because of the hotel. And then the nursing home was very short-lived because Iowa came in and told them that their hallways were not wide enough to move the patients sufficiently. So a lot of like ADA regulations were coming in. Excuse me. So in the 1970s, the nursing home closed and they started a new era of the care and treatment. So it became a facility for people suffering from mental ailments, addictions, alcoholism, mental health, schizophrenia, DID, things of that nature. And it ran smoothly until the director was asked to retire. And administration was brought in, and under the new care of that administration, the new director was really part of the physical and verbal abuse of residents and the employees. So not the best of all directors. And then the state of Iowa, caught on to wrongdoings, and just like they do to many facilities in that time in the era, especially in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, they started shutting down these facilities completely. So it was shut down in 2005. So 2015, Josh Hurd, very awesome guy. Hope you guys get to meet him if you go down there. Wonderful guy. He looked into it and ended up just, he ended up just buying the property and becoming the new owner. So with that.
Yep, that's him.
Yeah, great guy. You guys would love him.
Yeah, Josh.
I haven't already met him, but he is quite famous. So like a lot of people know him. He's
very welcoming, very made you feel at home.
Yep.
Right. Plus he had a lot of information on Melvern Manor and all the things that's happened there as well.
Yep.
Yeah, actually he did the book We Are Melvern Manor. I actually found this on Amazon, and this has all the people, well, a good chunk of the people that either passed away in there or were residents there, and their story.
So some of the main residents that may not have left, the first one, a shadow man, he's thought to be the spirit of a former resident. He's been seen several times, and he runs people at like full speed, like, straight at you, and starts running, and then disappears before any type of impact.
Now, the Shadow Man
Yeah,
is what we had an encounter with at the end
correct.
of the
We believe we did, yes.
He's supposed to be a really tall guy, about 6'7", and he was nonverbal and a bit what they call deranged. But a former employee says the man that used to chase the nurses down the hallway who were doing their bed checks.
Yeah, it would be at the end of the hallway. We thought we saw an apparition in the camera, but it's not showing up on the stream, but it would show up on my side view of the camera. And you said when you put your arm out there, you could feel the energy.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. It was like a shadow mass right there in the edge of that doorway.
Yeah.
Because when you guys set up your stuff there, your laser grids and everything, you had a REM pod sitting up here toward the bottom of that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually went down there and sat for a long time and didn't get any activity at all. And then all of a sudden, the REM pod just started going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But every time she showed her face, he disappeared.
Yeah, it did. She adjusted the REM pod there, and he kind of walked back into his room where I seen the dark figure come out of. And then it kind of come back out again. And then that's when I told her, I said, or Leah, when we were sitting there, I said, put your hand in there. And she could feel the difference in that temperature when I stuck my hand in that shadowed area. And yeah, it was pretty interesting.
But he didn't seem too interested in me. It seemed like he would back away if I would kind of show up. I even tried playing like the nurse role and did some knocking on doors and walked in and said, hey, med check or bed check, and talked about the types of medications that they're on. I'm like, do you need your such and such medication? Just to see if I can get any type of remembrance from them, from the bedtime stuff.
A little history from the book on him. It says, one of the more infamous spirits at Manor is the Shadow Man. Typically what happens is at the end of the long, dark nursing home wing, a very tall, dark humanoid figure will emerge, turn towards investigators, and run at them. And I use the term run very loosely. It's typically not a running motion or a gait. He is quite literally traveling the distance of roughly 40 feet in less than a second. And interestingly enough, there is no scratching or anything negative with the action. And it seems the second we flinch or duck, the phenomenon has passed. And he was also on TLC on Paranormal Lockdown. He was brought up. They're saying about 6'7" tall. And that was about what we saw on the side view of the camera that is not looking up. It looked like a figure kind of just leaning out of the room. Right,
it did. And even in the funny part about it is even when we were sitting there and that we seen that shadow, the way it was lingering next to that door, there on our right side, if you're sitting at the end of the hall, it was a bathroom area, if I remember right. We kept hearing weird noises kind of coming out of there at one time when we went in there and nothing was there as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if, I don't think he was mean. I think he's having fun.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's just enjoying running at people and getting that like thrill of the scare. But he's not there to harm anybody.
But he also can tell, I think, with certain people, the ones that are going to react to him and the ones that aren't. And then the ones that aren't, I think he's kind of curious what you're doing. He just wants to know what's going on.
Right. And even also when we were sitting there, I think it was me and Nick were sitting there at the end of the hall after kind of trying to debunk some of the stuff we were seeing there from the video. And we heard a bang in that room and the door's locked. We couldn't get into it to begin with.
Right.
And
something came in from, a noise came from that room. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was like a storage for somebody.
Yeah, somebody actually rents that room for storage, and they rented it before Josh knew the story of what happens there. So he's like, well, now I can't tell her to get out. So the door is locked. He can't go in there. We did go outside and around to the side to make sure like nothing was hitting the windows to make those noises. And there's nothing there.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and because we thought maybe somebody was banging on something metal outside the door or outside the building around the corner. And when we all went out there, even the owner and him, Josh, we all went out there and was looking around to try to figure out what it was. And we couldn't find anything to debunk the sound that we heard in there that crashed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I know it said in life he would do this to the nurses. What I found interesting is he would chase nurses to the kitchen, but he would never cross that threshold of going into the kitchen. He would run after them, they would run to the kitchen, and then he would stop and go back. Never going into the kitchen.
It sounds like it was more of a game.
Yeah.
Something else I thought was really odd is when we first got there and we were walking toward that section, we seen this balloon.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just out in the middle of the hall moving around at will. There's no heat running in that section to make that balloon move or anything else, but it was kind of rolling around right there in that area.
In that room that it's adjacent to, I think there was like a pool table set up and stuff like that.
So
and there was no breeze coming out of there.
No.
Yeah. So
we ended up moving that balloon out to see if anything would happen in the hallway, but the balloon was moving in that room.
Maybe they didn't like us moving it.
It's true.
They were playing with it.
Because that's where we found it was in that room moving. So we decided to move it out in that hallway.
Yeah, and that room wasn't anything different than the hallway or any other rooms.
Right. And there was no breeze at the time or anything else. And if you want to look at some of the videos that we had, you can go back to the Eternal Ex Wolfpack Paranormal YouTube page and find Melvern Manor Part 1 and 2, because we were live that night and you could see some of the things that were actually happening.
Also in the Vale, we did do some lives and they're on our page too.
Mm-hmm.
We have some investigation lives up as well from the night after.
Right.
Interestingly enough, in that hallway, you weren't there the second day, and we were setting up cat balls, and we were getting actual cat ball action at the end of that hallway.
The one it is right now, the direction we're facing.
So in Rebecca's room, Rebecca's room is at the very end. The door at that door or window at the end of the hallway.
The two rooms at the window, by the exit sign down there.
There was nothing coming through that. If there's a question about if there's any wind or anything come from that door is sealed. Mm-hmm. You can't go in and out of it. It's completely sealed up.
But
there's no breeze coming through that.
There are two rooms there. Rebecca's room would be to the right if you're looking at it at the end. Right.
So what I was going to say is the room at the very end to the right, where it looks like somebody's standing in that corner, because you see it looks like somebody's standing. I think there was a chair there or something. That was Rebecca's room. Rebecca is actually somebody who came in. She was said to be in her mid-30s and thought her husband may not have loved her anymore. So she was known to be standing in her room by the sink, and the sink had this mirror in front of it, and she was plucking out her hair all the time. But Nick has like a little expert from that.
And actually, you just said what it was. Her husband no longer loved her. And basically at that time, you could take your wife and put her in the insane asylums.
Yeah.
And be done with her. That was a normal thing to do at that time.
And this was one of the pictures that was in that room. We're not sure if that was actually her or not, but
was that a medium he said that drew that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know who that was, but we're thinking with the age and just the look, it could have been Rebecca. Mm-hmm. But just kind of imagining being dumped off at a facility with those who truly do have mental illnesses, who actually are in need of that extra care and treatment, and you're there amongst them and learn that your husband just kind of dropped you there. So she was known to just start plucking her hair out.
Interestingly enough, though, that second night, the room across from hers was where we had the most lighting up of cat balls.
Yeah.
We had the camera actually into Rebecca's room, and we were looking, and we could see, we would be in the hallway, and on the camera side or non-camera side is where the cat balls were lighting up. Right. So I sat in there, and then the activity kind of stopped.
Right. And here is I do have a clip from when we were there of a little bit of the activity facing the other direction. And that's right here. We were starting to set up. That's before you guys got the laser grid set up, and we were getting a little bit of flashing down there at the end on the REM pod.
Yep. And if the Shadow Man was that tall, I mean, that's very easy that he could have reached down and grabbed that antenna and made the shape we saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
That's going down to Rebecca's room, right? That clip.
No, that's Shadow Man down there at the doorway.
Okay.
Oh, where you got it from?
That clip came from that direction. It's the opposite direction of her room. Hello, Susan.
They're like, what the hell?
Hi.
Hello.
Calibrated.
I was like,
we had a lot of it's the storage area there. The desk actually was taken out. So
even in this viewing, it almost looked like there's something in that corner too, but I think that was boxes or something.
No.
Yeah,
there was a table, I think, right?
Yeah, there's a table and some type of a drape that we were trying to debunk the fact of how the shadow was reflecting certain things. And we couldn't get it to come up with some of the clips that he got in his frames, but won't show up when he goes to look at them.
I just see the laser grid and I don't see a difference in contrast.
Right.
But on the preview on the side of the camera, you would see it. So.
But yeah, and then that's down toward her room. That little clipboard right there was. So, but yeah, that was definitely interesting for that.
What I was going to say is down in Rebecca's hallway, in front of her room, and then the door closest to us on the left-hand side, that cat ball was also going off because night 2, we decided to just put away some of the higher tech stuff. And keep it simple and just like threw some cat balls in doorways and just sat out there and chatted. And we were getting responses from cat balls in doorways of rooms that we didn't even go into the entire time.
So maybe,
which was kind of cool.
So for anybody else out there who does the investigations, if you're not getting stuff with the things that take higher energy, try small, the basics. The cat ball doesn't take much energy for them.
Right. Definitely so. One of the things I also thought was really interesting too is the fact we went up to the attic and we were sitting up there, and I was sitting in a chair just off an angle from you. And it was up here by this doll. They had a doll up there.
Yep.
And on the video clip, like I said, if you want to see what happened, go to the Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal YouTube page on Melvern Manor Part 1 and 2. And Phantom Palace says they even got some of their stuff posted from that night as well. Check out that video clip because I was sitting in the chair and I swear to God, somebody whispered in my ear when I was sitting right there, plain as day. It's like, I'm here.
Yeah, you jumped.
Yeah. And I mean, I didn't exactly jump, but it did get my attention enough where I'm looking like, what the hell did I just hear right out of my ear?
No, you reacted. We could tell you heard something.
I mean, it whispered directly in my ear that night.
I think somebody said I should go in that taped off area too that was there.
Yeah, we got you to go in there with a REM.
I don't know who would have done that to me.
It would have bothered me either way. I mean, but me and you've climbed in some holes before down at the Masonic Lodge.
Some creepy areas, yeah. So,
but that was one of the dolls that was up there at the time, and it was kind of a strange thing as well. And I think wasn't this part up there as well?
Yes. That's not. I was kind of behind that, but it was to your left. There's a bigger area that you can get in there, and it's a long, kind of a long area that you can just go back and forth, and it leads into some
it's like crawl space. Really.
Crawl spaces in. I looked in those crawl spaces. Like, I don't have any problems going in a crawl space, but they weren't safe to go in.
Right.
Right. But I think Josh was saying that there's sometimes somebody that's kind of hanging out back there, and he just keeps the peace. He gives them, a
alcohol,
drink or two, a couple cigarettes.
Yeah, people leave stuff for me.
Yeah, it looks like alcohol and cigarettes mostly.
Yep.
So,
I mean, not a lot. Other than that moment for you guys, I don't know if the attic was all that active for us.
It was kind of cold, so
Right.
it was kind of tough to investigate in there.
This was also up there at that
Yeah.
time.
The story behind that was Josh had that doll out of that case for the longest time, and it would just show up in random places.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one time he actually saw it leap, kind of jump off, and it
Yeah,
landed
that's
on
what he
its feet.
said.
And it's porcelain, so
Yeah.
the feet broke. And the rosary comes actually from, I don't remember what pope, but the
No,
Vatican.
Vatican since
Yeah, the
they added
Vatican
the-
and the holy water, and he has that around it and the holy water on top, and he's got that in there. He said we could take it out of the box if we want it, if we feel froggy enough.
Yeah.
Oh.
I really didn't see the meaning to actually open it that night. I mean, it wasn't really giving me the creeps that night, but the story behind that is when he said, you know, it was sitting there and it fell off, broke its own foot. And then he's also said at one time or another, it goes to different locations of the house on its own.
Like,
and he for a while thought it was maybe his team messing with him and moving around because they know how he feels about dolls. But there was a time where it moved, I think, onto his desk in his office of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nobody from his team there that day. There was nobody in the building that day.
Right.
And it kind of showed up on his desk, and he pretty much was like, "Nope, we're done."
like,
I think that's when he said he decided he was going to put it in that box and then put the holy water around it because it just kept moving wherever it wanted to.
And
I mean,
apparently that's worked.
It's pretty interesting on that as for that doll in itself. I mean, there's other little dolls throughout the house, but that one is definitely pretty unique for sure.
It is. And it's completely porcelain too. So if it went off an area and tried to land on its feet, and he said he tried to actually get that same trajectory or fall on a mattress, and have it go onto a mattress, and it never landed that same way again.
Right.
So he does not know how it landed the way it did to break its feet.
Well, he saw it, but he was never able to recreate. So
How
he
it
would put
happened.
it back up on the dresser that it was on. He would shake it. He would do different things, make it fall down again so it lands on the bed. And it never once again landed on the feet like it did.
Yeah.
And it's top heavy. So it usually kind of fell over from the top and going down.
Right.
So,
you'd think the head would have broke since it's porcelain as well, but it didn't.
Right.
Well, landed on its feet, so that was less of a fall when it landed on its feet. So it probably wasn't enough to break the head. But
with all the trajectories that he was trying.
Yeah. Well, he had a mattress, he said, to try to do that.
Still.
Yeah.
It's porcelain.
Yeah, that's true.
And as old as it is, it's still fragile.
Right.
But the whole story behind that doll is pretty unique.
Further down, when you go to the hallway, through the hallway to get to the attic, you do come across, there was a grumpy old man, Hank, his room. If I remember, Leah was instigating him a little bit because we were told he doesn't like when you touch his clothes. Yep, there she's folding his clothes.
His clothes were messy. They needed to be folded.
It's either Hank or Henry, as he sometimes likes to be called, is certainly one of our more lively spirits. Hank is referred to as the grumpy old man. During his days here at the manor, Hank would enjoy sitting outside on the front porch, throwing rocks at children who were passing by. He wasn't exactly the nicest of fellows.
Throwing rocks.
And it also mentions he doesn't like his clothes being put away or touched or anything like that. So, but we didn't get really a response from him.
That's one thing I wanted to do before we left, and we never did get a chance to do. So the next time we get a chance to do it,
yes,
we need to sit on the front porch with a REM pod and kind of chuck some rocks and see if he responds with us throwing rocks. Just kind of pitching them out toward the sidewalk and see what happens.
Yeah, that sounds kind of like a bucket list thing we got to do.
Yeah, because I thought it was interesting. You could feel the energy in that room, but we
Good.
were not really getting any responses.
No, he wasn't reacting. He had some interesting items on his dresser though.
Yeah, I think I got a picture of.
There's a pinup picture.
Hang on, I think I got the images of that here somewhere. That
Yeah. They had cigarettes out for him, sometimes money. He has a bell. He didn't really play with his bell either. Alcohol.
right, but yeah, they'd leave him stuff as well.
Mhm.
Somebody left him an autograph picture, and it looks like a small watch of some type, and an armband, and some money.
Mhm. I can't read the armband.
Yeah, but yeah, the energy in there was definitely unique, but we just never really got a lot of response out of that.
But if
That
you think
room.
about it, if he was grumpy in life, really wanted to be left alone, I doubt he's excited to just sit there and chat with people when they walk in his room. And he really didn't want them in there to begin with.
Maybe he wanted us to disappear, so act like he wasn't there.
But
Further down that hallway, though, when you go towards the attic, there were two rooms across from each other. When we were downstairs, we were hearing footsteps.
yep,
And we went in there, and I remember both of us were awkward in that hallway when we went up there and kind of investigated what we might have been hearing. And we kind of walked from room to room, and it was a certain board we were hitting on that ramp.
yep.
And that
And it
noise
seemed like it was the same one we were hearing downstairs when somebody was walking, and nobody was up there because me and you were downstairs, and I think Lee went to the kitchen area at that time.
You were doing a tour with the
the girls. That's right.
the ones that came by wanting to see the place, and
Yeah, Cheyenne.
she gave them a tour quick.
Yeah.
And we were still downstairs, and they weren't in that area.
No, none of us were in that area. But you guys heard the footsteps.
Yeah, we definitely got footsteps from there.
And the
Because
story of that
Also, when we were in the grumpy old man's room, there is when we actually heard knocking that we ended up debunking.
Yeah.
We kept hearing knocking noises, couldn't figure out what it was. And hang on a second, let's see if I can bring this up. It was this young lady and her friend knocking on the front door, and they wanted a tour of the place, and Lee gave them a tour when me and Nick was kind of debunking some other stuff.
Yep.
It was one of those fun moments where it was like dead silent upstairs. We were on the second floor. You guys were in Hank's room, and I was on a chair in front of the stair landing. And this was about the time, and we'll talk a little bit later about it, where things started getting uncomfortable on the second floor.
It did.
It got very uncomfortable. But then I heard knocking, and I think you guys did too. And we were just kind of like, okay, so there was some knocking. Then I heard it again, and I'm like, no, those are like real knocks. Like somebody's trying to say hi to us, like alive. So I went running down the stairs, opened the front door, and they were just kind of walking off the porch. And we did a tour with them and stuff, and they were pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think they said they came all the way from Canada to see that place.
One of them was from Canada, yeah.
So I definitely wasn't going to be like, no, we're doing an investigation. Not at all. Of course, come on in. Let's all chat and
The footsteps we heard, the story behind that is there was a male resident in the room to the right, the one to the left. The one on the right would go into the walk over, cross into that room, and supposedly took advantage of that fellow inmate, but it was never reported. So it was kind of believed that they were basically gay lovers.
Yeah.
And the staff kind of just let them have their relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
So
so there was nobody ever taken advantage of it.
Right.
It sounds like they were a couple.
They kind of knew the staff's schedule, so they were able to time it out.
Seemed like it was a mutual thing they just let happen instead of getting involved with it. But
so what we probably heard was the one going over to the other guy's room.
Right. The walking back and forth in that plank that seemed to be the noise we heard when we were sitting downstairs that we were trying to get debunked as well.
But we never got any conversation from them, so that could have just been spirits doing their routine, not aware of us.
True. Very true. Also, we stopped into this young lady's room as well and got a little bit of activity as well.
That is
Susie.
no,
Yep.
Susie was Susie.
Susie. So Susie was a middle-aged person, however, had the mind of more of a child, like an 8 to 10-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So there's coloring books, and people color and leave her notes. She's known to turn pages in the books. So I went in there for a little while and colored and chatted. And I think you can see our bell. Yeah, you can see our bell right on the nightstand there.
Mm-hmm.
There was some responses with that bell. And a capel, I think, was on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
sitting like kind of right next to me in front of the dresser on the floor there was our
Yeah.
capel.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, there'd be like a little movement from the capel. There'll be a little ding from the bell. But it was very little activity.
When me and Sean weren't in there, it was a little bit. That's when you got the responses.
Right.
Right.
We
Yeah.
weren't really welcome in there.
Yeah. The dead man bell went off a couple times, and I think the cat ball went off maybe once.
Yeah.
And then we let Lee just do her thing there for a little while. And, but yeah, they got a little bit of activity in there. And I think I left you some crystals to leave in the girls' rooms.
I did, yeah.
And, so they could have something from us.
Mm-hmm.
And so they know when we come back. But it was definitely unique. There was never anything of bad energy there whatsoever, from
No.
what I could tell. It was just a lot of different activity at a certain time, it seemed like.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was intelligent or if it was routine or if it was responding to us periodically just to say, "Hey, I am here."
Mm-hmm.
You could not tell the difference, really.
Right. But see, her room is in the same room as, or is in the same hallway where they sometimes hear the captain.
Mm-hmm.
And they would hear the captain's voice. Not even they, like, it's been reported by other investigators that you might hear a disembodied voice from what they believe is the captain on the second floor, kind of keeping things in order, kind of doing, what are you doing here? Things like that. I never got a voice from him. I had my recorder in that hallway for many hours. Nothing ever came of it. However, that is the hallway on the second night, and Sean, you had left by then. I just stopped being very comfortable. I felt unwanted. I felt a lot of unease being up there. And I mentioned it to Josh, going, I don't know what's going on the second floor. And he said that he actually was investigating that Thursday before we got there, because we got there on a Friday. And he too had just this overwhelming feeling of uncomfortable. Eddie like shouldn't be there, to the point where he left his equipment.
I remember him saying that.
And he just left. And I had that feeling on that Saturday night, just not to be there.
After you left, we really didn't do much upstairs. It was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It became more uncomfortable in that first night. It was a little uncomfortable in the hallway with the two men in the walking back and forth room.
Mm-hmm.
But that other wing got super uncomfortable too.
That wing to me was like the most uncomfortable for me. Just being in that wing. Maybe it was the darkness. Maybe it's because you're going down the hall and it curves and you don't really know what's on that curve.
Didn't
I'm not sure.
Josh say it feels like there's something up there that's just kind of not a positive spirit? Not maybe an evil, but not positive. Like they've been having
I remember him.
like that.
I remember when we were all sitting there talking in the kitchen about when he left his equipment up there, and just a strange feeling he was getting up there. And like you said, I don't think it was an evil thing or anything like that.
No.
Just something negative that was just kind of eerie at the time.
Like kind of at that moment or around that time, that was the activity that was actually happening.
that's a possibility since it didn't happen the night that I was there. It happened, a few days before we showed up with him. Then it happened a few days. Well, the next day after I left, it seemed to happen again. Maybe it is like a timing thing of something happened in a Pacific time, and you guys just happened to catch it when I wasn't there that night.
And then at the end of that hallway, there's another room. They say there's an Inez. She was a kid who lived in the town. I think she lived across the street.
Yeah.
And she died across the street, but her spirit is there in that room.
Or in the area.
In the area.
In the home. They just kind of dedicated that room to her.
And
now, if I remember right, didn't he say that girl disappeared and they couldn't find her?
Yeah.
No. She was playing outside with her brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
And while they were playing, she said she was going to go upstairs for a second. And her brother
That's right.
came upstairs and found her hanging in her closet by a jump rope.
That's right. I remember now. Yeah, I remembered that. But I also thought there was one that disappeared. Wasn't there one of the kids that disappeared in that area too?
Was there? I don't remember.
Yeah,
it
was something around the train when it was around the train station time. It had an error. I remember them saying something about one of the kids disappeared then. But I do remember like the girl walked up there and he said she hung herself up there. And I'm not quite sure how she would have got that done with the way the closets were made, because if she's as tall as she is, that doesn't really make a lot of sense because she could pull herself up and got herself unloose for the age she was.
Right.
But for her age, did she have the strength to pull that up to choke herself either?
Exactly.
And some of the things in that room were kind of poor taste. One of the drawers was full of jump ropes. But that was a little poor taste, but it was a kid and she did enjoy jump ropes, so she may have enjoyed jump roping. So people thought maybe meant it that way. But I thought if that's how she hung herself, it's kind of poor taste. If she did.
Part of me doesn't want to believe it because, again, we're talking about the early 1900s. And I'm not saying that suicide wasn't a thing even then. Of course it was. However, it's not often that you're going to find out a 12-year-old had decided to hang themselves.
Right.
That's not what they were doing at that age. It's not something that was so talked about that like it is now. It was actually really shunned, and we didn't talk about it to kids, and that she had decided to do that. But my other thought was, as wrong as it might be, is the train was right there. There was so many transient people coming on and off the train right across the street. So she would have had just as much access to that train. And I'm just wondering if somebody did something to her and hung her themselves, and it wasn't her that did it.
I definitely agree with that aspect, especially, hearing the story, when it was explained by Josh. I just can't see a girl that's that happy-go-lucky, and wanting to explore the way she did, going upstairs and doing this and doing that she would just go upstairs and all of a sudden just do that.
Right.
No, that made no sense there. That wouldn't have. And at that time, they probably wouldn't have really investigated very thoroughly, because the person who probably, if that's the case and someone did that, they're probably out of town by now.
True. That or lingering around the train station still waiting to leave, not,
Right. Or staying at the hotel themselves, just walk themselves right back to the hotel and like nothing happened. And we don't know, but it's just a theory I have. I'm not saying it really happened or not. I just have a hard time believing at that time in the world, a 12-year-old would decide to go hang herself with a jump rope after standing outside and playing on the front lawn. Just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it's definitely strange, but you got to remember the era at the time, and it's not advertised as much as it is now. But the fact is, back then, you did have murderers, stranglers, and stuff like that. It just traveled. And,
Oh.
they were never really caught because they just kept constantly traveling place to place.
Mhm.
And, she could have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right. Could have been easily a murderer who different identity. It was so easy to change your identities back then. It was a lot easier to get away with things because the technology wasn't as great. It was tourism to the cities, so people were a little more trusting as well than they are now.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's also something to consider for that.
Most definitely for sure.
There was one other famous resident. Was it
Greasy.
Gracie? That was downstairs by the nurses' station too.
Mhm.
She had how many different personalities? And it showed in like a short period of time. Josh told us it was like in the teens,
Mhm.
like a matter of like a half hour or something like that. Like all her she had like 12 to 13 different personalities, I think it was. But we didn't really get much in her room.
Yeah.
That would have been during the mental ward stage.
Right.
It says she had a lot of personalities, and she was in there with nurses at one time, and they were able to get all the personalities out in an hour.
That's it.
Now, for somebody who has done so many studying,
13 personalities.
13. So for somebody, I mean, I'm no psychiatrist. Yeah, I do. Just reading this comment. Yeah. I think there's foul play versus hanging herself with a jump rope.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I've done a lot of study into mental health. My undergrad is in forensic psychology.
Right.
DID-1 is not very common. And if you were to have DID, it's very rare that you're going to have 13 personalities. What's even more rare is that they're all going to come out within an hour of having a conversation. And I know a lot of people are like thinking of the movie, was it Split?
Split.
Where you just see a bunch of them coming through. That's not how it works.
Well, I guess my question for this is, do you think possibly they were aggravating her at the time, and that aggravation, it was getting to each one of those parts of her, and maybe that's how it came about?
And I do believe that she may have had DID.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with the idea that all 13 of them came in at once.
Yeah.
But there has been, from what I understand, she's been heard saying the devil is coming to get me in a male voice while she was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Her nurses heard a male voice from her room. Can't have males and females in the same room, so they would go in there and try to catch whoever's in there, and it's her.
Right.
So I do believe that she might have had some sort of DID that changed the vocal cords, and the other personality could have been a male.
Mm-hmm.
They said that I'm just reading through, they experienced tugging on clothes when going into Gracie's room, especially if you're a male. Mates back of the wall out of frustration. I didn't actually get any energy in there.
No.
I mean, not only did we not get responses, I just felt nothing.
Yeah, it was.
Not to say it's not true. I personally didn't feel a thing.
And maybe we didn't endear to that spirit. So.
Right. I mean, the activity that we got, I thought was really cool. Like I said, the man at the end of the door or at the end of the hallway with the shadow coming out, and the girls with the REM pod and the dead man, and what we experienced up in the attic. When it whispered in my ear, that was bizarre, because that actually was the first time I've ever heard somebody actually felt like it just whispered right in my ear. That was it just made me stop and just like, what the fuck did I just hear? And like I said, it was weird. It's like, I'm here, and I'll never forget it. It says, I'm here.
Yeah, there.
Made me feel jealous because that never happens to me.
It was unique activity. I will say that. It's definitely worth doing again to see if they remember us and respond even stronger.
Yeah, I'm definitely game to going back there sometime this summer if you guys want to. And
Yeah.
let's see if we can stir up some of the other ones and see if we can get some responses out of them as well that we didn't really get from the first time there.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'd be curious on going back to the second floor too and seeing if I have that
Mm-hmm.
energy again, or if it's clear like the first night where
Mhm.
I didn't feel that at all versus the second night where I didn't even want to step foot up there. I'd like
right.
to kind of go back and explore that a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should focus on the things we never did get a response from this next time if we go toward compared to what we got a focus from the last time,
Right.
and see what difference it does make. And if we do happen to get something from those others as well, that's great too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because that girl with the jump rope, I'd like to go deeper into that and see if we can get some responses out of that and maybe get some answers or
Absolutely.
something coming over the REM pod or the Ovulus that we can link things together to add to that story for him, and get
Yeah.
an understanding of what actually might have happened.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to get some clarity.
Oh,
And
yeah.
although it was a great time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would definitely want to do another like 2-nighter.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean, if you're able to get a 2-nighter in, that would be awesome.
Next time, I will plan accordingly. We'll get somebody to watch Guardian, and we'll do a 2-nighter. I mean, I'd love to bring him with me, but I know damn well he'd get into everything in the process, and he wakes me up at 3:00 in the morning growling at the corner in the wall. So he's pretty how do I say sensitive when it comes to things like that, and who knows what he would do when he's in a place like that. But
Right.
yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Well, they do say animals see more than we do, so they're a good detection for stuff like that.
And we were talking to Josh about maybe getting out there again for another weekend and even like opening during the day to having people come and do tours again, because I had a great time doing a tour. I love leading tours, so that was fun for me.
Yeah, maybe get like a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday and go down there. And like I said, I'll get somebody to watch Guardian and just make it a 3-day. Because, I mean, I liked it when I was down there in Melvern. And we actually had a chance to go to a few places to eat there as well.
Oh, yeah, there's some really good places. There's one across the street, the cappuccinos or lattes were really good. They had some fun flavors.
Yeah.
Salty heifer.
Yeah.
That was great.
Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find some pictures here. Tried to get them here. There we go. There is the salty heifer.
Yes, it's a very fun little place. They had really good ice cream and they had some good burgers and stuff too.
And for people who have been to Melvern Manor before, that is the manor right behind Salty Heifer.
So they're right across.
They're like in the yard pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure. And that's Janelle, the owner.
Uh-huh.
And actually you can see the signatures up there. You got her to open up wall space for paranormal teams to sign.
Yep. So we were the first ones to sign the paranormal wall and the salty heifer. She kept saying she was meeting all these people that came in for an investigation and stuff. And I said, all right, that's cool. I mean, it's cool that you got to meet people like that, but you should have someplace maybe, a memorabilia. And she just kind of looked around and she gave us a marker, and we were the first ones to sign her paranormal wall and the salty heifer. So definitely stop in there and talk to Janelle and have some of her burgers there and some of the ice cream they got there. They do an amazing job in that little place. And,
it was a great meal. You get some energy for more investigating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, the hospitality there was great. And like I said, the whole town is just down to earth. I actually liked being there. It was fun.
It was very small, quaint. Everything was within walking distance.
And I loved
for the most part,
their brick stone, like the cobblestone type of streets that they had still that were still there. That was pretty cool.
And that was us. We took pictures before we left. That was us before we left.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a really great time down there. I like being down there, and I definitely like to go down again. And teaming up with you guys for the second time, and you guys are really thorough. I like how you guys do that. I mean, me and Nick really got into debunking some of the stuff that we've seen on the camera, and that was good. What city and state is this place in? It's in Melvern, Iowa.
Yes, Iowa.
Yep.
And it's called Melvern Manor.
And if you look it up on Facebook and do a message, it's Josh that's answering, and he's so welcoming, like super welcoming. He'll love to have people there.
Mm-hmm.
That is Josh. He's an awesome guy, and he's really down to earth. And like I said,
and he has some great stories because he stays there every once in a while and has his own little room set up, and you're there by yourself, and he knows the place as well as he does. He has some great stories of his experiences being there by himself.
Yep. He's got a little studio set up where he can stay and spend there sometimes. And so that sometimes you just turn the TV up and just ignore the noise around you.
So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I liked the little town. It was kind of quiet. They were all nice, and everybody seemed to get along great there. And the hospitality was good. Even when, like I said, we went to go eat, we kind of went there late. That the one we did the first night, and good food just right across the street in both locations. And like I said, definitely go to the Salty Heifer there and meet Janelle and her team there with I think I had a jalapeno burger there. And,
yeah, you did.
It was really good. I mean, they really did a good job.
I think I had like a breakfast burger where you have the egg on the burger and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I had. Sorry.
And
I just know I really like their ice cream sundaes.
Yeah, the ice cream sundae was really good. They did an awesome job with that.
Yeah.
So she wasn't too big into the paranormal part of it, but
it's not that she didn't believe. Just like she enjoyed meeting all the different people that
right
in our
see that
viewpoints.
place. Yeah.
Right. So
it's like the town's own little tourist attraction.
And she said it's well known in the town and everything, and some people just stay away from it.
Yep.
And she has a restaurant right in its front yard.
Yeah, that was another one we got from there.
Yeah.
Picture.
Oh yeah, he had like some creepy.
You had some blurry pictures that you weren't moving, and they were just blurry for some reason.
Yeah, and that was one of them. I think I got a solid picture out of one of the others. I just don't have it loaded up on the drive, but that was kind of one of the other ones that we had there. We'll see what else we got here real quick before we.
Yeah, there was that one room that had the Christmas stuff up still and everything. Thought that was kind of weird.
I did think it was really odd. We had this one too.
Yeah.
The Jack in the Box.
And you see my spirit talking there in our thermal gun so that we can kind of see spirits or see the heat signatures.
That's another picture of the room that Lee was in.
Susie,
yeah. All the coloring books, stuffed animals.
Yep.
So people have left her some nice toys to play with and crayons and pictures to color. And
I haven't colored in a coloring book in so long, so just sitting there coloring.
I'm trying to find this one picture. I seen it a little while ago. Now, me and Nick, we found something odd, and I can't remember exactly what this went to, but we found something else that went along with this.
Yeah, an Annabelle thing just in a room randomly.
Right.
That was in the hallway with Susie, actually, too.
Right.
That hallway, interesting enough, there was blood on the walls.
Yeah.
Josh had that tested. And it is human blood, but it was an abandoned place for a while, so there could have been squatters in there, and something may have happened.
Right.
He's not sure because if it was an active nursing home or like healthcare type thing, that would have been cleaned up then. That
Right.
wouldn't have stayed.
Right.
But
So
I
it's
thought
something you could think of.
I definitely thought it was odd that we found that sitting there. Oh, I know what it went to. I know what it went to now. Hang on a second. I got the image to it.
Okay.
Because we seen this picture
Mhm.
and we linked it to that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because the original Annabelle is Raggedy Ann.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then then I was like telling Nick, something weird. And I was like, okay, we see this picture of Raggedy Ann here. And then we happen to look in a closet, and this happens to be sitting on the shelf
Mm-hmm.
right there. We just thought it was odd. I was just
It
like,
was odd.
it just kind of went hand in hand. I was like, okay, this is an odd thing. And so,
Maybe someone put that there. Maybe I don't know.
With teams that run through there, they could have.
Just kind of being funny, or
yeah,
it goes with the doll. I don't know.
I just thought it was like, okay, Raggedy Ann picture, Raggedy Ann. And it wasn't, with Annabelle being a Raggedy Ann doll, I just thought that was kind of strange, that we find that in a closet by itself sitting on the shelf,
Mhm.
and then a picture of, Raggedy Ann on a picture. So
Yeah. So
definitely good. Well, guys, we are at the top of the hour, and it was great being able to do this. I mean, it's been since Halloween and before we even had a chance to do this, but and been in the works. And I had a great time working with you guys. And like I said, you guys are awesome, and I will definitely team up with you guys again anytime. And maybe this summer we can head back down to Melvern and do a little more digging there, definitely for sure. And
love to do like a nice full weekend.
Mhm.
Maybe open it up to people coming in and doing tours. We can almost make it feel like an atmosphere of people coming in and out, like it did when it was a hotel.
Yeah.
Seeing if we get any energy that night afterwards. that
maybe
runs
maybe a small group of 10, and we can divide up and go into locations and see what we all get.
Yeah.
That would definitely be something good.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Yep. Thank you, guys. And thanks
Night,
for stopping
everybody.
in. And here, Justin, in about another hour at 7 p.m., season 4 kicks off of the Eternal Ex-Wolf Pack Paranormal, and we'll have a new guest. Hiccup will be on there. That's short for their team. They are called the Heart of Illinois, the Center of Unexplained Phenomena. Those guys were on the round table with me, and we had some discussions. But tonight we're going to dig into their team and learn more about them and how they got into the paranormal. And that'll be on at 7 p.m. here just in a little while. But thanks, Nick. Thanks, Leah. Thanks for coming in tonight. And like I said, anytime, holler, and I'll work with you guys any day of the week. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, and everybody have a great night, and we'll see you here in about another hour for the kickoff of season 4. Night, everybody.
Night.
Right.